Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Card is Going to Change. That's right, AIW's very own podcast. And my name is Alex Worldwide Keller, and I just want to tell you all about one of our great sponsors. That's right, Pollyanna DIY, PollyannaDIY.com, at Pollyanna DIY on Twitter, Instagram, and etc. And what Pollyanna DIY has to offer you, they have excellent original wrestling enamel pins, shirts, including the Extreme Roots 91 t-shirt. Checking my hair right now. I have some medium roots. Take care of that in a bit. That's right. They have it all. And wrestling promoters and wrestlers, if you're looking to get into the enamel pin game or t-shirts, Pollyanna DIY wants to hook it up. Now let's take it to the show. The reason you hit download, the card is going to change.
Hello once again, everybody. Thanks for listening to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode, as always, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for free each and every week. Firstly, thanks to Angelo's Pizza. They're feeding us here as they always do while we record, and they, of course, bring pizza to you at our live events at Mount Carmel. If you want to try more of their pizza or anything else on their menu, it's all delicious. Head to Angelo's on Madison Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio. And thanks to Smart Mark Video, they record all of our live events. And if you want to relive any of those or watch them for the first time, you can purchase that on DVD or digital download from smartmarkvideo.com. And additionally, head to powerbomb.tv, sign up using the code ABSOLUTE, and you will get a 20-day trial for free. And then stick around and just keep watching the shows that we put out there from the AIW archives. And as always, thanks to Jack Prince, who helps take care of all of our printing and graphic design needs. They can do all of that and more for you, whether it be banners, t-shirts, business cards, flyers, everything and anything. For all that they have to offer, head to jackprince.com.
JAKPrince.com.
Oh, yeah. That wonderful voice you just heard there, none other than the man known as Smart Mark Gary. So kind of weird that he introduced a sponsor not of his own. But
Yeah, why is that?
you know what? Because that's how the episode starts every time, Gary. So I know you appreciate special treatment, but that's the way we got to do that there. We're also, as always, joined by AIW owner John Thorne.
Hello.
Also joining us on this episode, the extremely cute wrestler Colin Delaney.
Hi guys, can I do the Smart Mark Video one? Hey guys, go to Smart Mark Video because Gary does a lot of cool stuff and films a lot of cool things and wears a cool hat that says Smart Mark, and I think that shirt says Smart Mark too. What about the shorts, Gary? What about the shorts?
They are not Smart Mark shorts though. Sorry about that.
Fucking Gary.
Sorry.
And as always, my name is Steve Guy. I'm your moderator of sorts. On this special episode, against his will, we have made Smart Mark Gary do this to kind of, I guess, chronicle his career, right, John?
Yeah, the illustrious career of Smart Mark Gary, the cameraman.
It has been a long time.
How long has it been?
1989.
Wow. What kind of camera were you using in 1989?
God, I don't even remember what it was. I actually took the full-size VHS tapes in the camera, though, but...
I was going to guess Betamax. I imagine you with one of those big shoulder units with the small tapes in it.
It's been a long time. That show actually had Yokozuna was on it.
Come on! I was just going to ask who's the name of the show.
Kohina Maxima, he wrestled then. Ken Patera, Ivan Koloff, Alpha and Seek of the Wild Samoans.
And how does that happen? How do you just start filming wrestling shows? Were you filming other things before wrestling shows?
Yeah, I actually filmed weddings. So I was
okay. How do you go from weddings to wrestling shows?
Because I was a wrestling fan from I started going to wrestling in 1977.
Okay.
And I used to go to all the WWF tapings at the Hamburg Fieldhouse. So
Three
for
W's at that point.
Yes. So it was a Tuesday night in Allentown, Wednesday night in Allentown or in Hamburg, and that was every 3 weeks. So just a big fan of wrestling. And
Gary,
went
you
on
ain't that
for-
old. Quit lying.
Oh my God, I wish. 51 years old.
Come on.
But how
I'm old.
does someone discover you at a wedding, like a conversation starts, and you're like, yeah, I'm a big wrestling fan. And they're like, well, would you want to film this wrestling thing? Or do you reach out to someone?
No, I don't even know how it happened. Dino Sauna, Alpha, and Sika reached out to me and got me to tape their one show.
It's
and
a big deal.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool.
Did you record one of their weddings first?
I did not.
Ah,
Have
Oh.
you
that would have been cool.
recorded wrestler weddings?
I have not.
Come on.
What?
No, anymore. When I'm done taping wrestling, I don't want to tape
You don't wanna
anything else.
you definitely don't want to see anything else, right?
Hell no. I tape so much wrestling.
How many wrestling shows do you think you've taped in your lifetime?
We did over 100 the 1 year, so you figure I'm taping since 99 or 89 till now. So,
think you broke 1,000?
Oh my God, yeah,
Oh, for sure. Had to have, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
We're pushing 20 years at this point.
I'm still like blown away that Yokozuna was on the first show that you recorded.
Yeah, he wrestled as Cohina Maxima, but
That is wild.
It's a mind.
How do you and Mike Burns meet each other? What develops that
Yeah,
relationship?
because in 1989, you're not videotaping for Smart Mark.
I am not.
Okay.
I actually met Mike Burns at a farmer's market, flea market.
Of course you met him at a flea market.
He was selling wrestling figures, and so that's how we ended up meeting. And we just started hanging out at wrestling shows, and then I started taping for Ed Zahn, Doug Flex, and that's how we ended up meeting Mike Quackenbush. And then we started the Smart Mark video thing up and ran the FWA wrestling shows. And people asked us who put our TV shows together because we were doing TV at the time. And we said we'd do it ourselves, and next thing you know, we started getting booked all over.
So you're technically a television producer.
No.
You got IMDb creds, Gary?
No.
Do you know what IMDb is, Gary?
I do not.
Come on.
I do not.
I knew the answer to that question.
Yeah, Internet Movie Database is what it stands for.
No.
It's
I hate
track
the
of everybody's
internet.
credits
You
online.
I
hate the internet?
I hate the internet.
You have a Twitter account.
It's not me.
It's not you?
That's not me.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
man.
Mike Burns and Mike Robles, you guys suck.
Wow.
Big Twan Tucker is shocked.
Yeah, he follows it. That might be his favorite follow on Twitter, and he thought it was you the whole time.
So you basically fall into working for Smart Mark Video because of flea markets.
Correct. That's how we started the whole thing of Smart Mark Video, was just us running the FWA wrestling shows and then people hiring us from there. And
What was the first gig out of FWA?
not an FWA show, or
Yeah. That booked you guys out because of that.
Maryland Championship Wrestling, Hardway Wrestling, Eastern Wrestling Federation. They were like the first three. Doug Flex's, I don't remember what it was called back then, but it was
Doug
like him
Flex
working.
is a great name.
We're-
Doug Flex working with Ed Zahn, who actually was the promoter for ECW in Pennsylvania.
So
Oh,
where
okay.
are we on the timeline here?
Like what year?
Smart Mark Video.
Would
together.
have been when we started doing it as a company, probably 90 something,
7, 8?
98 maybe.
I gotta say, we're recording this outside of Music Links right now, ahead of the show. Matt Justice just walks up, and he is astonished of the fact that,
Hi, Matt Justice.
that Gary is sitting in on a podcast right now.
Yeah, we're rocking a sweet,
Under a tent.
rocking
Under
a
a
sweet
tent.
ECW shirt.
In
We're
case
under
of
a
the rain.
tent.
the locker room's
Tucker
outside.
is still woke.
Yeah.
In case you guys are curious,
Never stops.
Gary repeatedly wakes him up with the things he says.
Our AIW student Dan's here, who bought All In tickets. So we call him All In.
We got an AC
What?
unit going.
So 97, 98ish, you think?
Yeah, probably was the first shows we taped as Smart Mark Video.
When do you start traveling to like IWA Mid South?
We started doing IWA Mid South. I believe 2000 was the first year we did IWA Mid South.
And what were your
2000.
first impressions of that?
Meeting Bull Payne and having Bull Payne scare the fuck out of me with a barbed wire baseball bat.
What did he do?
It was fucking crazy. And then you meet him in the back and he was like so nice. Like,
What did he do? Did he chase you with the
chase me with a baseball bat.
What was going through your mind?
This guy's fucking nuts.
It's par for the course. That's Bullpain.
But Bull
classic
Payne's awesome. I
Bullpain.
love Bull Payne.
But back in 2000, like, IWA Mid-South was like who's who, right? They were-
Ridiculous.
yeah.
Ridiculous how good the shows were. But the first show we did was the King of the Death Matches. So the first show I go out to do for Ian is King of the Death Matches, and it's...
Had you ever seen anything like that? There wasn't a lot going on like that in Pennsylvania, right?
There was nothing like that in Pennsylvania.
Really? There wasn't
Yeah.
anything like even that old ECW stuff wasn't.
Yeah, you had the old ECW stuff, but it was nothing like what the King of the Death Matches brought.
Yeah.
I mean, that was...
I wasn't sure if the early King of the Death matches. I mean, I'm not a King of the Death match aficionado. I wasn't sure if those were
Tamer.
a little tamer than they became.
It was a little tamer, but there were still light tubes and panes of glass and the barbed wire and thumbtacks and fire, and it was crazy.
What are you thinking when you're videotaping this? You have to be scared, right?
No, it's not so much that you're scared, but you just try to protect yourself as much as you can.
Yeah,
How much has that evolved over the years? Your I guess your armor that you
Yeah,
wear.
Shannon says I wear a suit of armor when I tape. I wear safety glasses, a long sleeve shirt, long pants.
Because some hard lessons had to been learned over the
is
years.
hard.
Death matches mostly.
Only during death
Typically,
matches.
like a show like t-shirt
Yeah.
and shorts tonight.
No, I mean, like, they did a lumberjack light tube match where the lumberjacks had the light tube, so if a guy got thrown out of the ring, you hit him with a light tube. So I'm standing right by the guy when he gets out, and of course they buzz a light tube at the guy, and the glass comes up, hits me in the ear, cuts the hole inside of my ear. So then you learn that I gotta start watching out for myself.
I envision you wearing like one of those masks, like the beekeepers wear.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean. Something like that.
outfit.
So
You
can
might
see-
need-
Do you have one?
You might need to invest in a beekeeper suit.
I might have to. I'll be looking for that at yard sales.
How many deathmatch shows do you think you've taped since 2000?
Oh my god! Like tournaments or just matches? Tournaments?
Tournaments.
Probably 40 or 50 tournaments.
So you've had
Maybe
to
more.
experience,
It's quite a few.
You've had to experience quite a few injuries over those years.
Yeah.
Do you think the ear is the worst injury you got?
No, Danny Havoc. I love Danny Havoc to death, but when he was still a lot greener than now, had a whole bundle of light tubes and went to throw it at a guy, and as it hit the guy, it flung in the air and landed and hit me in the head, knocked my hat back about 5 rows back, and I was like seeing Loopy there for a little bit because it was like a bundle of like 30 or 40 light tubes wrapped together, and I got hit with the metal ends of them.
Oh my God.
Necro Butcher had a gallon of spoiled milk. It was 100 degrees outside of the deathmatch show, and somebody handed Green Phantom and Necro
Green Phantom fan? Or no, Green Phantom the
Green
wrestler.
Phantom the wrestler and Necro.
I was
And
thinking Green Lantern fan.
Green
My
Lantern.
mistake.
when they hit them with the gallon of spoiled milk, it all went on me, the whole
How-
gallon.
did you
And
throw up?
It's oh no, so close, but it smelled so bad. Like it was bad. Cut my one finger down to the bone with some glass the one time, but I mean
Oh my God.
it's all
He's
stuff
just there
that's
to
fun.
videotape.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm only videotaping.
At this point in time, traditionally, as we go through this podcast, when we're done, you will get people's promos. Are there any promos that are memorable? Not necessarily because they were good, but maybe especially the deathmatch ones. These guys get intense, and you're like, "Is this dude coming at me with the camera?"
Let's see, deathmatch ones that are bad. I just hate when the people spit blood on me.
Oh my God.
They're done doing a promo, and you're covered in their blood, and you're just like, what the frick was I thinking taking this promo? It's like, because they spit as they talk, and the blood just flies all over you. So
Oh my God.
they all suck. Any deathmatch promo sucks.
What about the regular shows?
Turner and Franco, former Ring of Honors. Their promos.
Right? Matt Turner and Rick.
Matt Turner and Anthony Franco. You remember?
Yeah, I remember
How
Turner
good were their
Franco.
promos?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Oh, they were incredible.
I'll tell you, those Turner and Franco, Cloudy and Cheech matches, where
Yes.
Cheech does like a shooting star off a speaker at the staircase, and not Quack. I think Hero lost his mind about just
Hero
went
did.
off on him. Yeah. It was against Turner and Franco.
Yes.
But those were actually good promos. Is that what you're saying?
No, they were actually
were
bad promos. But they were known as like
so bad they were good.
So bad they were good.
they were told to do promos every show just because everybody used to laugh at their promos. So yeah, it was kind of hilarious, but it was like one take, and
So that's got to be like two polar opposites in your mind. You're doing deathmatch tournaments, right?
Yes.
And then you start doing Chikara. You know that.
oh yeah,
You don't have to wear the beekeeper suit there, right?
I do not.
Yeah, Chikara was a whole different atmosphere. It was a lot of fun, though.
That's probably where you found this guy.
I
Mr.
did.
Delaney,
That's where
right?
I first met Colin there, and it was a lot of fun.
Just a fresh-faced 18-year-old kid back in Shakara days.
It was a lot of fun.
So was
though.
Gary.
Yeah, Gary was probably.
I
about
was.
18.
Yeah.
18,
I wasn't
18 years into the business.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been around this thing way too long. But I got to videotape Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was there ever a guy who you were like in awe of? Like you're filming, but you're like, holy shit, I'm filming this.
Terry Funk.
Terry Funk,
It was the
okay.
first time I filmed Terry Funk.
You came to the bar that night with Terry Funk. How was that?
I love hanging out with Terry Funk. We hung out. I helped ECW get buildings back in the day.
Oh, well, here's a whole nother fucking.
Hold on
Yeah.
a second.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more layers to
There's
this.
a whole other layer going on.
Yeah.
We're going into.
Ed Zahn was the license for ECW in Philly, and I was friends with Ed Zahn, which got me involved in getting the building. So we got them the Flagstaff building in Jim Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania.
The Hamburg Field House in Pennsylvania, and
yeah.
St. Joe's Gym in Hazleton. So I was working with them guys and picking guys up at the arena, and
So you're driving guys around and stuff?
well, we were asked. It was actually really funny because we were asked the one day by Bill Alfonso to take Sabu and Rob Van Dam to the arena, and I told Fonzie, I'm like, yeah, I don't really feel like driving them. And Carolina Jim was with me, and Jim was like so pissed off because he would have marked out so bad for it. But
how come you just didn't feel like?
Nah, I just didn't feel like taking them.
But you
How
had driven
long-
them before.
Yeah, I just
Oh,
didn't want to drive them, so I was
Yeah.
just like, no. I'm like, you know.
We got Sabu making his AIW return coming up.
I've heard that. Mike Bird
What?
just said that
Oh,
to me.
you heard it here
Spoiler
first.
alert.
Spoiler alert.
Are you gonna draw?
Wrestle Rager 3.
JLIT
Sabu,
29. Oh,
Sabu's back.
come on.
Yeah.
hope-
That's the first announcement that Wrestle Rager 3 is confirmed.
It's
too.
confirmed. It's confirmed.
It is definitely confirmed.
It is definitely confirmed.
I can't wait.
Can we get a date on the podcast?
August 25th.
Look at that.
There it is.
August 25th.
Now we've
August
got it with
25th.
Sabu.
Yes, with Sabu.
With Sabu.
Gary, you got to
Sabu.
drive him to the building, though. You and Carolina Jim.
Yeah.
Carolina Jim would be here, but he probably booked somewhere else ring announcing that day.
You're gonna have to go pick up Sabu in the Super Genie. He's not budging on those Super Genie. So who are, like, let's hear about who are these people that you're driving back and forth? Obviously, you passed on RVD and Sabu.
Whoever they needed us to. We would just go back to the hotel or over to the airport. And
Who do you think the most famous person you ever drove was?
None of them are. I mean, I guess they all were, but it's just.
They're just
to
people
me,
to you, huh?
they're wrestlers. It's
Now,
they're famous, but not.
Now, you've told me this story once before, and I think people need to hear it. You almost bought Eddie Gilbert's gear off of him.
I did.
Off his
I almost
body?
did buy it. The day he was leaving ECW, because I used to talk to Eddie all the time there, and when he told me he was leaving, he was going to sell his stuff. And he had his jacket, and I believe he had his boots and gear there, and
He was selling it all.
he was selling everything. Yeah, he told me at that time he was going to leave, and he was getting out of wrestling, and he was going to get into politics. Back in Tennessee, and next thing you know, he did leave ECW that day, so that was true.
How much did somebody buy the stuff?
Yeah, it did sell, which I wish I would have bought it because super huge fan of Eddie. He was awesome.
How much did it go for? Do
I
you
don't
know?
remember. That was so many years ago. I know it wasn't a lot though.
Got to factor in inflation. It probably wasn't that much.
No.
But by 1994
But nowadays-
standards, yeah.
By the way, the Headhunters,
Oh, here we
Headhunter
go.
A and B, were in for Game Changer Wrestling, and they were selling their stuff also.
Well, I've heard Headhunter A #1
Oh, only one? Only number one sold his gear.
was getting out of the business, but Headhunter 2 has really been blowing up my Facebook
he wants that title
messages,
run.
So,
saying he's ready for a singles run.
Let's announce that Double Dare tournament this year with the Headhunters. All right, what's the date? Let's get it on the calendar.
It's not on the books yet.
Against Big Twan Tucker would be incredible.
You think? The Headhunters?
Oh my God, yeah. Just one of the Headhunters.
Just one?
Yeah,
Single?
single against
What
Big
if it's
Twan.
what if it's a three-way? It's Headhunter 2 because he's the one with the good leg.
Okay.
Big Twan Tucker and Big Mo in a three-way.
Oh,
You like
that's
that?
money.
You like that?
That's money.
Last time I was in this building,
Wasted
I watched
money.
Big Mo. Every pound of Big Mo crushed Twan Tucker, and I was positive he was dead. I was positive he was
He's
dead.
indestructible.
It was unbelievable.
He is indestructible.
He's indestructible.
And he does the greatest promos.
Okay, back to the promos. Let's hear. What do you think about Big Twan Tucker's promos?
Yep.
It's so hard for me to understand them. There's just so much lip and tongue there, but I'd be honest, I'm not lying. I don't.
I need to get a hold of one of these promos. I don't think I've ever seen a Twan Tucker promo in my
Oh
life.
man.
You ain't living, brother.
I don't think I am.
All right, back to Gary and his evolution throughout the business.
Yeah, as we talk about gear, one of the things that I noticed, because I'm sitting there ringside with you constantly, Gary, you like to be a little bit of a prankster, jokester.
A ribber.
And oftentimes
really?
we can see you wearing somebody else's gear that's left ringside. When did you get so comfortable that you can do that? Like, you're above the wrestlers at this point.
Wrestling
No.
royalty.
Yeah.
If I go into my cell phone right now, I definitely have a picture sent to me from Gary of Gary in my Buzz Lightyear hoodie.
That is true.
Yeah, for a fact.
That is
In
true.
the parking lot. Like the day after, I was like, shit.
Gary has also been known to steal championship belts from
Yep.
guys.
Yep, he's big on that. Always taking my microphones.
The
and
worst.
ring
The
bell.
one thing I feel real bad about those, first time I ever met Hollow Wicket, and I love Hollow Wicket to death. One of the nicest guys in the wrestling business. Colin, you like
sure.
Hollow
Oh,
Wicket?
he's
Everybody
super nice.
loves Hollow Wicket. Hell of a nice
I
guy.
love him. I think he's probably the most underappreciated indie wrestler of all time.
I
Oh,
agree.
man. Crazy.
I agree.
Because crazy talented, crazy nice, super soft spoken, doesn't get like any of the credit he deserves.
And the first time I met him, he won the Young Lions Cup at Chikara. And
you stole that cup, didn't you?
I stole the Young Lions Cup and left the building with it in my car, and we were going to take pictures of it and post them on the internet, like with the Young Lions Cup like all over town and stuff like that. And not realizing how nice of a guy he was, he ended up staying at the building looking and looking and looking for
Oh
the
my God.
cup, and I felt so bad.
And
So-
I feel like Quack would have had a conniption if you guys just posted a bunch of pictures of that cup all over the town.
I don't think so.
Is this like you're like like in Young Guns, Billy the Kid, he says that he never stole a horse from a guy he didn't like. Is this kind of how
Yeah,
it works
like
for you?
I mean, I don't steal anything that I'm not a thief. I
Yeah.
return it. I do
Just
it as
like
a
playing
joke.
with your friends. Like a joke on your
Exactly.
friends.
Yeah, it's like just pulling little ribs, and like I don't do anything to hurt anybody or steal anything. It's just
One
Just
time
ribs.
I had my 8x10 set out at a show, and there was a sign in front that said 8x10's $5. And I left, and I came back, and it had been changed to 8x10's 50 cents. I didn't even know Gary was there. And I was like, Gary? Where is he?
that was just I just did that to the Bateri the other last year. They
I
were
hadn't
at
even
some
seen
show.
you at the building yet, and didn't even know you were going to be at the building, and was like, fucking Gary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
just little shit like that.
you have seen, as we come into evolution, we keep going with it. You've seen a lot of people wrestle. Obviously, you've filmed a lot of them. Are there names of guys? You just mentioned one that you think, how has this person not gotten further?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys actually in AIW. Matt Justice is one of them. I think Matt Justice is a great talent. I think
Yeah,
he's
Gary's
really
Gary's
good.
pushing the. He's the first guy in the Matt Justice train.
Yeah.
He told me, you told me that when Matt Justice just got I gave him like a one little tryout match, and you came and you said, where's this guy from? What's this guy's story?
I did the same thing with Adam Cole when he was working as a student for CZW. And actually, when he was in to see Britt Baker at the one show, he actually came up and thanked me for all the times I talked with him after the show. And he used to ask me, how was this? How was that? What can he do better? Because there ain't anybody around that's seen more wrestling than I have.
And you're actually the one that is seeing it the way everyone else is going to see
Yeah.
it. You're controlling that.
And another thing like that, Chris Hero. Always really close with Chris Hero. So he used to ask me, what did I think of his match? What could he have done better? This. Low key was such an ass about this. I mean, I don't like to bust anybody, but he said, he came up to me and he goes, what gives you the right to tell anybody what they did right or what they did wrong? And I said, I don't tell anybody what I think unless they ask me. I said, if they ask me, I'm going to give them my opinion. And Low-Key had just went off on me about that I had no right to tell Chris Hero what I thought of his match.
He asked you, though.
Chris asked me, and so yeah.
Well, I mean, there's probably a million stories like that people could tell about Loki being an asshole.
We can have a whole new podcast about that. We can just start this one over with just stories about Loki.
And animal crackers.
And animal crackers.
So what year do you come to AIW? Do you remember your first show?
I'm not sure because Robles
was here first,
Yeah.
and then we came in after when because Mike was doing a lot more shows out in the Midwest than what we were doing here.
Yeah, because it was kind of like Smart Mark was separated into two crews, right?
Yeah, we have Robles that does all the Midwest,
and you guys were all East Coast,
and we were all the East Coast.
Well, back then there was a shit ton of work on the East Coast, like that.
There
Philly,
was
Jersey area, and like decent work too. Like it's not like that anymore, but there was like a shit ton of stuff going on in that.
Well, we were doing all the combat shows, which was a lot.
Right.
We were doing all the Chikara shows.
Yep.
and Chikara would do like triple shot weekends.
Yeah, like we were, and then when they did the whole wrestling it was like 3 shows a month, and we were going up into the New England area, like 3 times a month. We were driving 6, 7, 8 hours for one show. And it was ridiculous.
And you guys were used to having shows like an hour away from,
yeah,
not
like
even
2 hours, hour, and it was just crazy. And then the whole thing with Combat Zone, when Burns told DJ he wasn't going to book anymore. Very next show, DJ's like, yeah, I have somebody else taping. So that was just a way of telling Burns, okay, you don't want to book for us, we won't use you guys. And then the whole Mike Quackenbush thing with Chikara.
And yeah,
that was a whole nother
big thing. So it's kind of like you guys built these brands up through Smart Mark Video, and they kind of just went in different directions.
Yeah.
So you guys lost a lot of work.
Yeah. So then we lost a lot of work, and that's when we were. Robo still had a whole bunch of stuff in the Midwest, so we started coming to the AIW shows, and I love coming here. Shows are always really good.
And it's a matter of opinion, but neither of those brands got better or have gotten stronger without Smart Mark Video for sure.
Oh no, definitely not.
Not even
definitely
close.
Not. No. When Chikara started having people tape, I went to the first show that we didn't tape, and I was going nuts in the building watching people tape at ringside because the person at ringside was sitting on the floor taping. How do you sit on the floor and videotape a wrestling show? And the guy on the hard camera was standing off of a ladder on the floor, not even at the camera, clapping and cheering, not even taping. And I'm just like, if Quack wanted somebody else to tape, fine, it's his promotion. Let us teach the people how to do it. I would not have cared if I went and taught somebody what to do, but he just went and got these people, and I went to watch it. It was ridiculous. I couldn't even watch it.
I will say from a promoter's, I guess, point of view is AIW, when we started, we would do everything on our own. We would shoot it, and, you're not affording good cameras like Smart Mark Video has, so it's like you're getting like 2 different and we didn't know what we're doing, so you're getting 2 different resolutions being videotaped, and then you got to try to edit it on yourself, then you got to try to produce the DVD on itself. And I think some promoters think it's like, oh, the grass is always greener because there's going to be more money on the table. But for me, I much prefer just paying Smart Mark and get it. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about the fucking, there's going to be 2 different resolutions showing up. It's gonna look good. It's gonna be produced good, and it's one less thing for me to worry about. So, for me, I think it's well worth every dime because I don't have to stress about that.
And they get it out. They put it out.
Right.
They promote it. It's part of their brand. So your brand is a part of their brand.
Exactly. And it's like you're paying when we tried to get on Smart Mark Video forever and ever and ever because it was like that's what makes you an elite independent wrestling company.
Right.
And the day that we were finally accepted to being on Smart Mark Video, we were ecstatic, and it helped raise our profile so much.
It had to, but like I said, Smart Mark is its own brand, and at this point, Smart Mark's brand has this name that when you add yours to it, it just
right. It's like a perfect storm of right. You know what I mean? As we grew, Smart Mark Video, brought so many different eyes on us. So it was like it helped us so much more, and like I'm so thankful for that, because there was I could not imagine having to sit there and have to edit the DVD and do all this stuff after you put in so much work at the show and do so much. Like running a wrestling company is very stressful. So it's like then I couldn't imagine having to go home and then sit there for hours and like watch and edit. It's like for me it's worth every penny to just be like, here's the money, and then I get a finished product back on top of the distribution of they're gonna release it digitally, which I could never in a million years fucking figure out how to do.
Me neither.
And then they have such they have so much clientele built up all over the world. So it's like it gets so much more eyes on the product, and I love it. And now I'm also glad to see like other newer companies coming on board, like you guys are doing Game Changer stuff, and like kind of seeing that resurgence of like elite independent companies that you can only see through Smart Mark Video.
Well, that was one thing. Like when we started doing it, the reason we started actually was after we were doing the FWA shows and people started asking us to do their shows. I'm like, you look at some of their shows and they look like crap, and we wanted to make it look good because we were all wrestling fans. That's how we got into it. We're still wrestling fans. If we didn't like what we were doing, we wouldn't be doing it. And so we went out there and we videotaped the best that we could and try to make everything we did look good, and people took notice to it, and they know where they can pick up independent wrestling. If they go to the smartmarkvideo.com site, there's I don't even know how many companies we're selling their products for. People have us selling the stuff from over in Japan, from all over.
Was there ever an RF video feud? Smart Mark Video RF feud?
I know there was a time when nobody liked each other, but there was never a feud.
Okay.
I've known Rob.
Because you're both same area, you're both same like.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, I've never.
And I think he tried to get into the independent wrestling production for a while.
Yeah, he did.
And like I think that fizzled very very quickly.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I have nothing against Rob. I mean, I bought some stuff back in the '80s that I had problems with, but it's the way all wrestling stuff is. It's,
and
videotapes.
I do think that there's such a thing as like over distribution and like watering down. There's some companies that like they're on every platform. You know what I mean? You can get them from High Spots, you get them from Smart Mark Video, you get them from this weird website, and like or they have their own website. And I think like what I liked about Smart Mark Video, and especially now, like I've totally eliminated the AIW online store to where it's just like you have to get it through Smart Mark Video, because like I just think it's like easier to just be like, you have to go here. Like I know that my DVDs aren't gonna wind up in like a $2.99 blowout sale, and it's just like Mike Burns wants to make money for everybody that's involved, like
that's what everybody's trying to do, is make money. So,
and I would be shocked to see what independent wrestling would have been like if nobody would have stepped up and like try to make like a Smart Mark Video, because you were there when it was like there's so much lost footage from the 90s and stuff like that.
Oh my God, yeah. It's the stuff I taped is lost.
Right.
Nobody has it. It's ridiculous. I mean, I try to go back and look through some of the old stuff, and I think I found the DVD with the VHS with Kerry Von Erich, and but so many of the other ones that I taped, I can't even find.
So say, what, in your mind, the growth of the independent scene as it is right now, if you had to kind of, I guess, rank what has helped those grow tremendously, would it be like 1A and 1B being video and then the internet? I mean, over almost 20 years now.
I think the internet has hurt. I think it's hurt indie wrestling. I think there's so much video footage out there that's been put on the internet, and people are just watching that. There's so much wrestling.
I agree that there's too much content available right now.
Sure.
That it's hard to get, like, it's hard for, like, if you're starting a new independent company, it's almost impossible to get like a foothold, because there's just so much content that is out there.
Oh, it's ridiculous. You could sit at your house and every hour, every day for years and not watch all the wrestling footage that's available on the internet. just on YouTube alone.
And I mean, I'm sure Colin can relate to this. Like, probably when you broke it, there wasn't a YouTube. There wasn't a YouTube. When I got involved with wrestling.
I was just saying the other day, when I started, I would hop in the car with the Ring Crew Express with my VHS tape with my name and phone number on it. That was it. And you hand it to promoters. I would drive in the car with them, and I would hand it to promoters. And I said the other day, fuck sending a promoter YouTube links of yourself. I'm going to start emailing people VHS tapes again.
That's the way you did it back then. That's how it was.
I'm going back.
Tape, Colin.
I'm gonna
U.S. mail.
U.S. mail. I'm
You're gonna keep them in business.
U.S. Postal Service is gonna get some business from me.
You'd be a real hero.
But I mean, that's how you had to do it back in the day. Is take a VHS tape, hope that you had a double VCR so you could dub your matches over, and then make copies of it and mail them out to people.
Yeah, or drive or ride 6 hours in the car to hand it to the promoter and
hope he had a VCR set up.
Hope he had a VCR. But no, everyone had VCRs back then.
But hope he had it set up at the show so he could put you on the show that night.
Nah, I was hoping for future bookings. I was always like, next time I'm in. Next time this guy's gonna watch this VHS tape of me and Jimmy at 16 and be like, wow, those 16-year-old kids with the VHS can go.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's like I love the people that do go out there and purchase the DVDs and do the downloads off of the Smart Mark site and help keep all the independent companies going. But there's, like I said, there's just so much footage on the internet right now. It's mind-blowing.
Being AIW specific, since it's an AIW podcast, do you have a few shows that were favorites throughout the years that you've done here?
I don't know if I actually have favorite shows. It's so hard for me. Like, people used to ask me, how do I like their matches? I couldn't tell them how I like the matches. When I'm taping, I'm taping to make sure I get it good. I can know if a match was good or not, but I don't remember the last time I was at an AIW show where I went home and says, man, that was a horrible show. I don't think that happens.
I can tell you my favorite moment that you probably videotaped.
Which was that?
When Terry Funk beat the shit out of the Duke.
I did love that. Anything involving Terry Funk is incredible, and when he beats up the Duke, that's even better yet.
That was probably my favorite moment of all time.
So I can relate doing commentary after I do commentary for a match. If I get to the back and someone wants to know how the match was, I cannot tell them. I have no concept because
You're concentrating on what you're doing.
Yes, I'm on the other side. I can't even. But was there ever a match that you watched and you were just like, holy shit, even from where I'm standing doing my job, that thing blew my mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
CM Punk and Chris Hero, the IWA Mid-South one that went over the hour.
The 93-minute one?
Oh, my God. I got done watching that, and I don't know if I was just blown up just from the match itself or from doing an hour-and-a-half match together, but afterwards I was just like, that was just incredible.
Yeah.
That was one of the first matches that actually blew my mind that I taped. Okay. Except for the death matches. Death matches.
Right, but like that's for a different reason
match,
sometimes, right? You're just like, you can't believe what you just saw.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
But as far as wrestling matches go, that was, and stuff with Eddie Guerrero, CM Punk, and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When those three wrestled.
That's wild. You were there for all that stuff, right?
Yeah. We were there with Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero, and Eddie Guerrero was teaching Rey Mysterio stuff in the ring. And it's like you see Rey Mysterio, and then you're like, wow, and he's actually in the ring learning. That's crazy. It was ridiculous. It was just so much fun.
It's nuts.
So much fun.
How do you feel about when guys brawl into the crowd, and they go over the guardrails, and then they come back to the other side, and they go back over again?
I hate it. I'm not young anymore. Getting over that guardrail hurts my balls, something fierce.
What about when you're doing a live edit and you're strapped into a cord?
Oh, that's even better yet, because then I can't go over the rail. So then they're just shit out of luck. But
how do you feel about ringside photographers?
I don't mind ringside photographers.
No?
No.
You just want them to stay out of your fucking way, right?
Just stay out of my way. Stay off the hard camera side. That's about it.
Because you can't really see. You have a feel for where you're going, but you're not looking to see where you're going while you're videotaping.
The only thing I don't like if they're standing in front of the hard camera, because then people are looking, when they watch the thing back, they're seeing somebody's head. And I don't like that. But besides that, I don't care.
You ever been clipped by a dive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, many a times.
Many a
I
time.
feel like you
Many
almost
times.
took a dive a few months ago at AIW.
Very close.
I was gonna say, I feel like you've gotten close. I feel like when I'm setting up to dive, I'm always like, it's in my mind. It's like, all right, where's Gary?
Yeah,
You
hit
know?
a couple times. Some people don't even care, don't watch, but you, like, I know, like, even like in the ring, you'll call, like,
Yeah.
let me know ahead of time, give me a little yiggy or something.
yeah.
But I mean, bumped, never really like taken out, but bumped a bunch of times, but never taken out.
But I was gonna say, is there ever like a real bad one where you got like,
No, I had Terry Funk throw chairs at me. That was in
bartender Nick
3PW in Philly. Yeah, I had the camera close up me a couple times. That was never a fun thing either. That shuts the camera down, so we had to figure out how to stop that from happening. So
yeah?
What's the hardest thing to film and record while you're there? doing-
hardest thing to film?
Yeah. Like while you're in the moment, and maybe it's a death match, or maybe it's the dives. What is it to catch?
Because you got to get the shot, but you also got to protect yourself.
When there's maybe 50 to 100 light tubes laying in a corner and somebody's coming right at them in the corner, and you're either standing there and taking the shot, or you're going to get to the side and take the shot and not take the glass.
Right.
I've learned over the years, stand to the side.
So I guess as we wind it down, what's the future hold for Smart Mark Gary? How long are you going to do this forever?
I'm going to do it as long as I possibly can.
As long as your body allows?
Yep, probably. I say I got at least 10 more years in me.
How's the body holding up? How's the back? How are the knees?
Well, now that he's
Sore.
learned to not break
Sore.
Sore, got it.
Because I guess people don't think about that, but you have to stand for hours
No,
at
I
a
can't
time.
even imagine.
I'm there for 4 hours of a show, holding a camera, taping, plus the promos beforehand. So,
And then don't forget about the driving.
yeah, and
Right?
long
The travel
drives.
going everywhere too.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, he doesn't drive. I
I,
just,
I share the
just get-
drive.
we just
Shannon
get the
does
tip.
most of the drive, but we share the
He's
drive.
in the car though. He's riding in the
Yes,
car.
I'm still in the car.
Right, getting all crunched up after you've been standing on your feet
Yeah.
and with your knees and with your back.
And yes, Gary has a posse.
That's on our podcast equipment. Gary has a posse sticker.
That's right.
Who made those?
I believe it was Robles, but I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it was Robles.
One last question I
Okay.
got for you. Eric Ryan wants to know why you weren't there for his 12th birthday.
Yeah.
Because he says you're his father.
He is my son. I was busy yard sailing, so I couldn't make his birthday party.
Was that perhaps the day that you met Mike Burns?
It might have been the day I met Mike Burns.
Oh,
It
so
just might have been.
Eric's mom was at from a flea market.
I think I met her at the flea market also.
Oh,
I don't think she was for sale, but
plot thickens.
Wow.
I told him he better quit that deathmatch wrestling if I'm gonna, keep him as my son though.
No son of mine's gonna be
No son of
deathmatch
mine's gonna be
wrestling.
deathmatch wrestling. Damn straight.
Because you know what it's like. You've experienced it. You
I've
lived
seen
it.
what it's like. I see what these guys go through. Everybody that does the death matches, every one of them, no matter if it's one of the worst deathmatch guys, one of the best deathmatch guys, they're a deathmatch guy. They're going out there. They're putting their bodies on the line every time they get in the ring and do a deathmatch. And I thank them for what they do. I thank anybody that wrestles, that gets in the ring. Because no matter what you're doing in the ring, there's always that chance that you're going to get hurt. I've seen so many guys get hurt doing something as simple as running the ropes. I know you've seen it, Colin.
What's the worst injury that you videotaped, you think?
That I videotaped had to be Nick Gage. Probably the worst injury I ever saw.
When he got the life flight?
That was insane.
What goes through your mind? I know we're winding this down, but that just triggered something. What goes through your mind when you see something like that? You know it's not going to... I mean, for me, I think of Flip Kendrick, right? Absolution, something like that happens.
Yeah.
I try not to think about Flip Kendrick. I see it every time I close my eyes, though.
Yeah, but you're sitting there filming it. Is your natural reaction to try to help these guys, or
No.
keep going?
Not
you
at all.
There's somebody else there to do it.
Yeah, I'm there to do a job, and I got to keep doing my job. Just the other AIW show during the JT Lightning show when Matt Justice took the doofer on the head right on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's awesome. He's a great guy, and I see him there. He is banging his face right off the mat or off the wooden floor, and you don't even think about it. You just keep doing your job. Afterwards, you're like, is he all right? But
Yeah.
the time it happens, you don't.
Do you try to get a better
Always try to get a better
like,
shot.
Let me get the blood. Let me
Always
see the blood.
try to get the blood.
Okay. Good
It's
looking
what
out.
people want to see. It's what the
I know.
fans want to see. So you gotta.
I don't ever want to see that Flip Kendrick thing ever again in my life.
No.
I mean,
Scary.
I never watched
Terrifying.
it.
It was very terrifying. I mean, sitting
No
right
way.
there. Yeah. I haven't. No offense to you guys, but I intentionally have not watched that match because of that. I mean, I can't.
I ran away from ringside. I was in the match. The match
That's true.
completed. They had to get me from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Not fun.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Well, give us a happy thought, a happy memory to wrap this thing up here, Gary. Because I know you got work to
Or
do.
happy-
You're a
happy
working man.
thoughts.
A happy thought is anytime I'm at a wrestling show videotaping.
This is happy place.
If I didn't like doing it, I wouldn't be here.
Or the weddings, all the weddings.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing of the
When's the last
past.
time you filmed a wedding?
1989.
If any of us involved in wrestling were to say, Gary, we're getting married, we want you to do our wedding, would you do it?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
There you go.
There it is, Colin.
think-
He's going to film my third.
Everybody.
Not my first or second. I want you on that third one.
Everybody says that everybody in wrestling is family. That everybody's their brothers and everybody's family. I feel like I'm part of it. I might not be in the ring doing it, but I'm still here.
That's
and
why
I've been here all these
That's why we
times,
wanted you to
so
be on the podcast. You know,
I appreciate it.
get your
I
story.
thought it
out
was
there.
a rib. I thought this was my
wasn't
big
a
rib.
rib, no.
This is
We
never
really
going to
wanted
air.
you.
This is a big rib. I know it.
No, it's not.
This is not a secret Dave the Potato episode.
Awesome.
Well, his was so bad it never aired.
This will make it.
Was his bad?
Yeah. The potato?
Okay.
Yeah, it was bad.
Hopefully mine wasn't that bad.
No, it was great.
No,
So.
we finished yours, so
Good.
his we didn't even do that.
I appreciate it.
Well, for Smart Mark Gary, for John Thorne, for Colin Delaney, my name is Steve Guy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I know we could go hours, but Gary's got promos to film. And
I
then-
do. We got to get set up.
And then a show. So we'll talk to you guys next week here on The Card is Going to Change.
Thanks a lot, guys.